Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully I'll be able to see your comments as you guys pop on. But today, on Wealth Wednesday, I wanted to talk about, sorry, just making sure my microphone's all set up. Just wanted to talk about, I was going to call it America's food obsession. However, I don't think America is the only one, but certainly only because I live here in America. That's what I can speak to. So you guys who are elsewhere can speak to, if that's different for you elsewhere. But in America, we have this insane food obsession, right? We are obsessed with food. We're marketed food. We literally have grocery stores and convenience stores like on every corner. You can't go like 5 miles without a Dunkin' Donuts or some sort of food place that you can stop and get food. We're literally food obsessed. And so one of the things that Adam and I really needed to change in our budget was going out to eat. Now, this is one of our favorite things to do. When we first started dating, we would go out to sushi. And like I kept all the little fortune cookies every time we went out, and I had a wallet full of these little fortune. I didn't keep the fortune cookie. I kept the fortune from the fortune cookie, and I had them all in my wallet, and it was just like a remembrance of going out to eat. And we loved the sushi place. It was like our place, right? And then when we didn't have kids and we lived in an 896 square foot house, like we weren't thinking about saving money. I wasn't investing then. I was 27. Okay, it was about 10 years ago. We weren't investing. I didn't know anything about investing. I wasn't saving money. I wasn't working on my student loans and paying down debt. I didn't really have a ton of debt besides my student loans, but student loans was a significant amount of debt. But we were just spending money because we could, and because that's what we enjoyed doing, going out to eat. So, when we were looking at buying a house together, one of the things that we had talked about was going out to eat and changing that because it was a big expense for us. We spent a good amount of money going out to eat. So anyway, now when we sit down and we do our budget, so we just did our budget a couple days ago since we're at the beginning of the month, and it was the first time I actually sat down and did my budget with Adam. Usually I'll go in and I'll do it because our schedules are, we don't see each other that often, and I usually sit down and do it by myself, and then I'm like, here, hun, here's the budget, this is what this looks like. And if you have a spouse who does that with you, it's not nice. Sorry, my messenger is up. It's not nice and it's not easy for you to follow. So, you're like, great, this is how much money we spent, but you don't actually get to see the process of like pulling out the budget from your finances. So we sat down, we did our budget together. And I was thinking ahead of time because I was like, I've been on this budget. I've been paying down debt and been really good about it. I was thinking like, we haven't spent a ton of money going out to eat. We've been really, really good this month. August was a vacation month, so I knew we had some more spending in August on going out to eat. But in September, I was like, I know we did really well going out to eat, or I should say not going out to eat, not spending a ton of money. But when we calculated all the little things that add up, going out to a restaurant, which we only did like twice, but all the little things in between, grabbing a coffee, grabbing a snack, all those things I consider restaurant expenses. We had spent $346. So while I thought we were doing really well, that's still a significant amount of money to spend on top of groceries going out to eat, right? So we looked at each other and we're like, where can we cut some things in our budget? And going out to eat is one of the things. Now, how can you do that if you really enjoy socially going out to eat? Well, number one, if you're doing 45, 45, 10, and you're putting aside 10% for fun money, you get to do whatever you want with that fun money. If your fun money goes to you going out to eat, that is your fun money. And everyone's going to have a different amount of fun money depending on how much you have left over at the end of the month. But that 10% in your fun money account, you get to do whatever you want with it. So you decide going out to eat. But if you use it all one time going out to eat, that's it, right? That's your fun money budget. It is gone. So you've got your 10% to spend on what you want to spend it on. Fine. But how can we decrease the amount of money that we spend on going out to eat? And should we stop going out to eat completely? That's a big question that people have all the time when they're doing their budget. They're like, listen, I want to attack my budget, but if I say no to all these social opportunities, then I'm not going to see my friends. So how do we balance that? I don't ever think that it's all or nothing. So I don't think that you shouldn't see your friends while you're paying down debt. Okay. Socially, that is a very important time for us to connect with our friends, to have fun, to be human, to do things that we enjoy. So I don't ever think that you should stop doing that just because you're focusing on paying down debt. Again, you've got your 10% fun money account, and you can use that for your social activities. If you know this month I have 2 social activity invitations, right? I've got going out to eat with my friends for dinner one night, and I've got going out to lunch. And I know that my friends often will say, hey, on a Saturday morning, let's go grab breakfast. You can make sure you allocate funds for that. So if you look at your fund money and you go, okay, I have this much to spend. How can I split it up in these 3 ways, knowing that I'm going to have these 3 social activities? Now, if you get to the end of the month, or sorry, not the end of the month, if you get to a time in the month where your fund money is gone and your friends call you up and they're like, hey, we're going out to dinner. Do you want to go? You have a couple choices. You can say, you know what, like it just doesn't really fit in my budget. I'd really like to join you. Either you can, go and not eat, which if it's just you and somebody else is kind of weird. But if you're going with a group of friends, it's so easy to just, grab yourself a water, eat before you go, or allow yourself to get like one small meal or split the meal with somebody else. So here's something that some of my friends do when they're paying down debt, but they also want to have the chance to go out to eat with their significant other. Split a meal. How many times have you gone to a restaurant and the meal is ginormous and you don't finish it all and you end up taking it home? 1,000,000 times. Split a meal. And you know what? I was a server, and so being a server, like on the other side now, sitting down at a table and ordering food, sometimes you think, oh my gosh, I feel so bad because we're splitting a meal and the waitress isn't going to get as much of a tip. And you know what? Just tip her or him for their job, as they did a great job. If they did a great job, tip them for what you did. You're not going to be sitting there hours upon hours upon hours splitting a meal, right? But you can save yourself a little bit of money by splitting a meal. Maybe that means you split a meal and you split a dessert, right? Instead of getting 2 big meals and then not finishing them, and drinks and all these things. The other thing that adds up a lot is alcohol. And while it's enjoyable, again, still do it, but just be cognizant of how much is alcohol adding to your bill. Do you really need to have that drink with dinner? Can you just get a water or a soda or whatever you prefer to drink that's not alcoholic? You're looking at a $2 drink. I don't even know how much soda costs these days, versus like a $12 drink. Okay. How can you cut back a little bit where you are, but also still have fun? You can still go and enjoy the socialization, but just be cognizant of what you're spending there. Some people will take their food to go and go have a picnic. That's another way where you're not sitting at the restaurant and looking at the menu and being like, ooh, I'm going to get this, this, and this because I'm hungry. Right? How many times have you ordered something just because you're starving and you get like all this stuff in front of you and you don't eat half of it? Pick 1 or 2 things, take them to go have yourself a picnic if it's nice out. If it's not, go sit in a picnic in your car, whatever. We used to take our Jeep to the beach and then just sit in the back of the Jeep and watch the waves roll in, and that would be like a date night for us. That way you're not spending money on drinks. You're probably not going to have as big as a bill, so you're not tipping really as much. I mean, I still tip the takeout desk, but that's another way to kind of decrease your spending on going out to eat. We also looked at like peer pressure of spending. It surrounds us all the time. We're marketed to all the time to spend money on going out to eat and restaurants. I mean, billboards and ads and everything on spending money going out to eat is in front of us all the time. And just get used to saying, you know what, that's not in my budget right now. Okay? That's not my budget right now. And I actually think that that's a pretty respectable answer. And people will be like, okay. Maybe they'll offer up another opportunity. Oh, okay. Like maybe they didn't realize that you were really working hard on paying down debt. And if you say, you know what, that's not my budget right now, they might offer up a different, cheaper, I don't mean cheaper like in a bad way, but just less expensive way to go have a social activity. And then you guys can do that together and it's cheaper. And now they're more aware that you're doing that, and they're not going to stop calling you or texting you to go out because you said, it's not within my budget right now. They might ask you actually for, suggestions on how to spend less money going out to eat, or how to spend less money on food, or dates or activities that you can do that are less expensive, right? It might spark a conversation or spark somebody else to start looking into that for themselves. So you never know what kind of influence you can have on somebody. And the other thing too is holidays. Holidays get really expensive, especially if you host. So just be upfront, okay? So we usually host Thanksgiving. And so we talked about this year, how if we're just upfront and we're like, listen, we will do the turkey, we will host, okay? But can you bring this and can you bring this, and just delegate. And people are happy to bring one thing. If you've got multiple people coming, then you have your whole meal planned and everyone just brought one thing. And then it's not all on the host, okay? So just spread it out. It doesn't mean that you don't have to host. You can still host, but just speak what you need, right? All we need to do is communicate and everything will be so much better. So that's for holidays. All right, so here's an example. Say we didn't spend $300 going out to eat. Say we saved, from here on out, we saved $300 a month by not going out to eat. What if we put that in an investment that returns 8% annually? That's about an average return with what we decide to put our money in for 10 years. Let's just say you did that for 10 years. Where could you be? You would have about $52,000 in an investment account. $36,000 of that is what you contributed. The other money is compounding interest. Say you save more than that. Say you're like, you know what? We spend $800 a month going out to eat. I'm going to save $500 this month. And you do $500 a month for 10 years. Where could you be? Right? So just think about the impact that you could have by saving that money and where it's going to get you. And also, though, still having a quality of life that you enjoy. Yes, you still want to have fun while you're here, but if your goal is paying down debt and your goal is retiring early or retiring when you want to on your terms, then you get to decide when that is, as long as you have yourself set up for that financial independence number, whatever that might be for you, right? Here are a couple resources I want to give you. Choose FI is a podcast that I love about financial independence. It is so helpful. They have a Costco food budget. So you can just Google Choose FI Costco food budget and it will pop right up for you. And it gives you some really great plans. Budget Bites, and that's BYTES. This is a website and you can get an app. They have budget-friendly meals. They have the meal plan. They have the recipe. They have the shopping list. You literally can go on there and plan your week of meals and take that shopping list and go to the grocery store. There's also another app, I forget what it's called, but it tracks grocery prices in your area. Now, I thought I had a great idea to put an app together that did this. I was in the car and I was like, imagine if there was an app that allowed you to compare grocery prices for the items that you have on your list. And then I looked it up and it already exists. So great for me. I forget what it's called though, but just do a Google search for like grocery store price comparison and that app will pop up. Now, some of these apps will cost money. Okay, so there might be a one-time fee or a monthly fee. I think Budget Bites might cost a one-time fee. It's relatively inexpensive for what you're going to save long-term by using that if you're consistent about wanting to save money. So Budget Bites, BYTES, and Choose FI Costco food budget. Those are two things that you can use as resources to help you save a little bit of money. And just remember that if you're going to be diligent about this, if that's going to be extra money for you, put it in investments. If you don't know where to start, you guys who are in Ditch Your Debt, you have an investment for beginners resource in your course. Those of you who are not in Ditch Your Debt, you can grab my freebie on my website at royalhighness.com, ROIL highness.com, and I have an investment for beginners freebie, and you guys can get going on investing. Start now. Start now. We always wish we started earlier. If you can start now, you will be set up so beautifully. It will be amazing what you can do with your savings. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and happy Wealth Wednesday. All right, I'll catch you later.